Before I begin tonight's Truck Series race review, I just want to send my best wishes and thoughts out to Dean Thompson. Dean Thompson, about 22 laps ago in tonight's truck race, had a very, very scary crash where multiple people clobbered into him, basically trying to check up. Wishing Dean Thompson the best, and I hope that it's a speedy recovery, and they're evaluating him currently at the moment. We'll have more updated information as the week goes on. So now, let's go ahead and talk about the truck race overall. So, before the green flag drop in tonight's race, a couple drivers had to start at the rear of the field. Spencer Boyd and Matt DiBenedetto basically went to the rear for unapproved adjustments. So, at the start of the race, had Nick Sanchez lead the field to the inside with Jack Wood on the outside, and Nick Sanchez got a really strong push and was able to clear for the race lead. Then trouble struck in turn number 2 for Chad Chastain, who backed into the outside wall, bringing out the first caution. So on the restart, you had Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside, with I believe the outside was led by Christian Eckes, and then basically Nick Sanchez got a really, really strong start, and he was able to clear for the race lead, and would continue with domination, pulled out to about a 3-second lead, and then the second caution race came out as Fox went to a full-screen commercial for whatever reason, as Chad Chastain spun into the outside wall, bringing out the caution. Then on the next restart, Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Christian Eckes on the outside, and Nick Sanchez able to eventually clear for the race lead. Then the competition would come out a couple laps later, and basically a couple drivers would end up having some issues up to that particular point. Then after the competition caution, Nick Sanchez will lead the field from the inside with Christian Eckes on the inside, and Nick Sanchez was able to clear for the race lead off of turn number 4. Nick Sanchez will pull out a pretty strong lead, and he would come off the corner to win stage 1 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Then on the restart, Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Ben Rhodes on the outside, and Nick Sanchez was able to clear for the race lead. Then the next lap, the next caution race, come out lap 79 for Lawson, who spun down the backstretch from 21st position and would bring out the caution once again, just got a little loose. Then on the next restart, Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Ben Rhodes on the outside, and Nick Sanchez was able to once again clear for the race lead and maintain the lead. Then we saw a couple incidents on the racetrack. Tyler Aitken got into the outside wall running in 15th position. Then Roger Groove actually got into the outside wall, and he came down the road to repair the damage. Nick Sanchez, though, would continue his domination. He would end up winning stage 2 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Then we go back green on lap 123 with Nick Sanchez leading the field from the inside with Christian Eckes on the outside, and Nick Sanchez was able to clear for the race lead. Then we saw some pretty good racing up front a little bit, actually. First time we had any good racing up to the point where Nick Sanchez had the lead and had pressure of Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, but Nick Sanchez was able to hang on. Then about 30 laps to go, the next caution would come out for Jack Wood, who went through the grass on the front stretch, and grass went all over the front stretch. He got a little loose, got into the grass, bringing out the caution. Then on the restart on lap 143, had Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Zane Smith on the outside, and Nick Sanchez able to clear for the race lead. Then a few laps later, the big one would strike down the front stretch. Dean Thompson would basically spin, exiting turn number 4, got into the outside wall. Then Matt Mills, who basically said after this, he basically had no brakes on his truck, basically hit him, got unaware, and basically hit Dean Thompson. Then after that, Trey Hutchins and Armand Williams were also collected in the incident. Massive and scary incident. Dean Thompson is currently in the hospital because of this incident. Just a very scary crash. Just awful wreck. ARCA brakes. People need to hit the brake pad. Unacceptable and unexcusable, in my opinion, that people couldn't hit the brakes. You got a driver injured now at this point because of it. People just need to hit the brakes. After that, the red flag would come out, and then on the restart, Nick Sanchez would lead the field from the inside, and Zane Smith on the outside, and we saw Nick Sanchez get a really, really strong run and was able to clear for the race lead. Then with 10 laps to go, another caution would come out for Taylor Gray, who got squeezed into the outside wall, running in 17th position, and then after that, we saw Chris Wright and Daniel Dice spin, trying to avoid him, and they got some damage. Then on the restart, Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Zane Smith on the outside, and Nick Sanchez able to clear for the race lead. Then Carson Hocevar slid up in front of the pack and dropped from 3rd to 7th. And then in turn 3, trouble was strike for multiple drivers. It seemed like Colby Howard got a little loose and got into Matt Crafton and collected Grant Enfinger, Tanner Gray, and Chris Wright, all involved in the crash. They all got a lot of damage, and some cars fell out of the race because of it. So on the restart, you had Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside and Zane Smith on the outside, and then Nick got a really good restart, but then Lawson spun from 9th position down to backstretch, bringing out the caution once again. And then we go to the second and final restart of the race, where Nick Sanchez leads the field on the inside and Zane Smith on the outside. Both of them running side by side down the backstretch, and as they're coming to the white flag, Nick Sanchez had the race lead, and Nick would get loose down the front stretch, had Carson Hocevar, I think, right behind him. Nick gets loose, they get side by side, there's some contact between coming down the front stretch, and then Carson Hocevar accidentally gets into back of Nick Sanchez and spins him into the outside wall, gets into the back and spins him out, and Carson Hocevar, because of them crashing really hard in the outside wall, he would come off the corner. Took a few minutes for them to clear, but coming off the final corner, Carson Hocevar, under caution, picks up his first career NASCAR Truck Series victory. First thing I want to say, congratulations to Carson Hocevar. It did look like that he got into the back of Nick Sanchez. It was unintentional, in my honest opinion. I thought he completely just dumped him. I think it was unintentional. I know a lot of people are going to look at this incident and think Carson Hocevar completely intentionally dumped him. I do not believe that it was an intentional dump, but he definitely turned him for sure. But Nick was, to be fair, really, really loose, battling for the win. I'm happy to see Carson Hocevar get his first career truck win. It's been a long time coming. He's deserved to win for a very, very long time. I just wish it wouldn't have been today, honestly. I wish it was Nick Sanchez's. Nick Sanchez clearly had the best truck. Led over 160, 165 laps. It was Nick Sanchez's day. I feel terrible for him, but it's been a long time coming for Carson Hocevar. Of course, pending post-race inspection, because he's got to get through post-race inspection. But nonetheless, Carson Hocevar picks up his first career truck series victory. Congratulations to Carson Hocevar on getting his first win. So now let's talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score for today's race. Carson Hocevar picks up the victory. Second place for Chase Purdy. Great run from Chase Purdy. Purdy was about an 8th to 10th place truck most of the day, but survived the cars near the end and gets a very good top 5 finish. Chase Purdy has shown some promise at points throughout the year so far. Has looked better than he's looked in the last few years. So good run for Chase Purdy. Stuart Friesen finishes third. Stuart Friesen was up in the top 5 near the end of the race. I don't think he has as good of a truck as Nick Sanchez did, but nonetheless, a great run from Stuart Friesen. Ty Majeski finishes 4th. Ty Majeski actually had to come down pit road in one of the cautions early in stage number 3 after getting some damage. He bounced back to finish in the top 5. He was my pick coming into the weekend. A great top 5 for Ty Majeski. Jake Garcia finishes 5th. Great run from Jake Garcia. I believe that's his first top 5 finish in his NASCAR Truck Series career up to this point. So great run from Jake Garcia in 5th place. Good to see that McAnally-Hillman's team is showing some great pace to start the season. Haley Deegan finishes 6th. Now look, Haley Deegan probably was running a lot of the race outside the top 20 and near the end just inside the top 20. But she survived the cars near the end of the race and gets a top 10 finish. You got to survive these incidents, and sometimes you're going to get benefited from great finishes. I know that Haley Deegan was not really good today, in my opinion. She was probably top 20 truck at best today, but then nonetheless, she gets her first top 10 finish of the 2023 season. She's got to be happy about that for sure. And happy to see she got her first top 10. She needs to do a little better going forward on the pace and speed, but granted, she finishes 6th. Good finish of the day for Haley Deegan. Corey Heim finishes 7th. Corey Heim got some damage in one of the late wrecks and still rebounds a 7th place finish. Great run for him. How about Ryan Vargas finishing 8th? Ryan Vargas, a great day for him. I mean, he ran a lot of the race kind of quiet, and to get another top 10 finish, I think he finished in the top 15 at Atlanta too. So great run for Ryan Vargas. Jack Wood finishes 9th. Great comeback for him after spinning through the grass early. He bounced back to finish 9th. Great run for him. And Ben Rhodes recovers a very solid top 10 finish after having to come down the road after a flat tire. Good rebound for Ben Rhodes in 10th place. Mason Massey finished 11th. Great run for Mason Massey. Kept it quiet most of the day and gets a very solid finish for the Rain Brothers team. Chris Wright finished 12th. Not a bad run for him. Matt Crafter, after getting involved in the late race wrecks, he finishes 13th. Tough break for him. Zane Smith finishes 14th. Zane Smith had one of the best trucks in the field. The second best truck in my honest opinion all day. Looked better near the end than Nick Sanchez, but unfortunately gets involved in that last lap wreck and finishes 14th. Christian Eckes also got caught up in the last lap wreck. He had a top 5 truck all day long too. Tough break for Christian. He's been really strong all year. It should have gotten a better finish than he did, but it is what it is. Nick Sanchez finishes 16th. In my opinion, no doubt the best truck all day. Led over 160 laps. Got turned on the last lap. Was probably going to hold on and win that race. If not, was going to finish 2nd, but got involved in the last lap wreck. If I'm Nick Sanchez, I'm really pissed off right now because that was clearly his race to lose. I'm disappointed for Nick. He clearly deserved the win, but he's going to win a race for the end of this year. Nick is a great talent, a great driver, improved himself today. He did a great job, though. It's a shame he got wrecked out, but he finishes 16th. Grant Enfinger also, I believe, got caught up maybe in one of the later wrecks. He finishes 17th. Lawless Allen finishes 18th. Roger Kruk, after having some issues in the race, he finishes in 19th. Been a terrible year for Roger so far. Colby Howard finishes 20th. Josh Rayoon finishes 21st. Not a bad run. Spencer Boyd finishes 22nd. Brett Holmes finishes 23rd. Taylor Gray, after getting involved in one of the later wrecks, he finished 24th. Daniel Dye, who's been terrible to start 2023. I don't know what's going on with that 43 team. He finishes 25th. Tyler Anger finishes 26th. Tanner Gray finishes 27th. Dean Thompson, after having a great day for the most part, had that big incident, wishing him the best and hoping to prayers for Dean Thompson at this point. Was having a career day, was going to contend for a top 5 finish. Unfortunately, out of the wreck, he finishes 28th. Armani Millens finishes 29th. Trey Hutchins finishes 30th. Matt Mills finishes 31st. Matt DiBenedetto finishes 32nd. Matty D apparently had some electrical issues that they posted on Twitter. The Rackley team did. He finishes 32nd. Sad for Matt. He was going to contend for top 10 finish potentially. Keith McGee finishes 33rd, and finishing last in 34th place is Chad Chastain, due to Caden Honeycutt and also Tyler Hill or Timmy Hill basically deciding to exit in the race because they basically had a truck that was completely destroyed and they could not run the race. So now I want to talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score of tonight's race. I want to say this. This race was probably one of my least favorite races of the 2023 Truck Series season. I did not enjoy that. That was not fun to watch. It was pretty bad. Cautions don't make a race better, and I did not enjoy tonight's truck race, and I still am not a big fan of Texas Motor Speedway. I've been pretty clear on that. I thought last year's race is definitely better than this one for sure. This is definitely one of my least favorite races of the year. Not much to say. I'm going to give tonight's truck race overall a 3.5 out of 10. Not a good race in my opinion, and probably one of my least favorite races of the year so far up to this point. I still think that the Atlantic Xfinity Series race and probably the truck race at Daytona was almost worse, but actually I'll say this has probably been the worst truck race of the year up to this point so far. Did not enjoy that. So, that is going to be tonight's Truck Series race review from Texas Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so you know if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below over that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Carson Hocevar picking up his first career Truck Series victory. It's been a long time coming. Let me know your thoughts on the race in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup video for the NASCAR Cup Series race at Richmond Raceway, and we're also going to have the Cup review from Richmond Raceway. Then Monday on the channel, we're going to have the NASCAR news video on the channel. We got some news to talk about for sure from the weekend, and a lot of content coming for you guys as we head to Bristol Dirt next week. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.